Hello and welcome to our Street View episode for June 2019. We're super excited to be enjoying the outdoor weather, so we're just going to jump right into what we have to share today. And it's starting with Ryerson University's Center for Urban Research released a report this week that declared that Toronto is the fastest growing city in North America, having grown 77,000 people in July, the year ending July 2018. And so what does that mean for Toronto? It's obviously lots more growth and housing that has to happen, lots more people jumping in. I'm waving to people I know in the neighborhood. Everybody's having a good time. And when you look at the next three comparable cities of Phoenix, San Antonio, and Fort Worth, we're 3 times their growth. And that means like density happening right inside the city core. And you see all the cranes around the city, you understand what that's all about. So when we look at the GTA overall, the GTA is ranking number 2 behind Dallas-Fort Worth. They grew at 131,000 people in their greater Dallas-Fort Worth area. The GTA in comparison, 125,000, so only 6,000 people behind that number. So very, very substantial and comparable. But then look at the other cities or areas that are ranking behind that. Phoenix, Scottsdale, Houston. I mean, we're just acres ahead of all of those 3 cities in that part of the US that seems to be growing so well. And there's an interesting story inside it. While for those areas, they're seeing a lot of natural population growth through birth rates, overwhelmingly the Toronto area is all about net migration. So let's talk about how that's impacting real estate. So we're going to jump right into our little recipe and talk about the supply side, which is all about new listings. So new listings were up 0.8%, which is obviously very, very flat. But we can see from the little chart that we have here right in the middle, that orange bar represents the May results in comparison to the 3 prior years. And you can see it's seasonally accurate. It has that natural curve to it. So everything's proceeding as normal. But when we look forward to June, in June we typically see a dip. I think this year there's been a little bit of a delay in the market activity that we're going to see. So I'm thinking that we're going to see more listings in the month of June, which will be interesting to see how that continues to balance the market, in my opinion. Some might say it's such a strong seller's market. It is in some ways, but not everywhere. So we'll get to that. So now we talk about the demand side, which is the number of sales. And they were up 18.9%. So there were a lot of transactions going on in the month of May. And once again, I think that whole really ugly winter we had here really kind of delayed a lot of people's decision making. It also helped that at the beginning of April we had interest rate drops, and that really kind of fueled the market a little bit. Interesting to see how that happens. Interest rates take a turn and then boom, the market activity picks up. So when you think about the number of listings is more or less seasonally accurate, and they weren't really much different from the year before, but yet the number of sales taking place is up almost 19%, then yes, what happens to price? And that's the result. It's up 3.6%. It's now at $838,540 for an average home in the GTA. So once again, we can see how that orange bar is very, very close to that peak bar in 2017 for May. But you know, we can see how 2017 had these previous months that were higher. And the absolute peak, you can see in April, the price was at $920,000. So we're at $840 now. The peak was $920. So differential of $80,000. How long will it take us to get there? We could be there in 2 years. All things being equal, that very well could happen. We could be returning to those price values. I think it's a little premature to say that that's going to happen for sure, but it's interesting how it's been more or less looking like a 5-year cycle for this little correction in the market and for it to slowly creep back up there again. And the rate of growth at 3.6% fits what I believe is going to happen this year of between 3 and 5% for year ending. No more than that. Why? Because affordability. Remember, we talked about that. People just can't get any more money from the banks, so there you go. So now we like to take a look at our very cool chart of different property types, breaking it down into the number of transactions, number of sales, and price over the different property types. And then you can see these little columns with the 416,905, so you can kind of find your exact square. If you have a detached home in the 416, you can see average price is at $1,385,000, and you drop down, you can see its growth has been 1.5% year over year. You follow what I'm saying? Okay, great. So now something interesting that we're seeing, trend-wise is, we know the entire market was up about 19% in volume, but let's look at the year-over-year changes in this your lower left hand, and we can see how the year-over-year percentage change in sales, where are they taking place? Look at in the 416, detached home sales are up 30%, semi-detached up 35%, townhouses 16 or almost 17%, but condo apartments, the number of transactions happening there, very, very flat, 0.2%, very, very flat. So now you come over to price and look at what's happening with price. Detached homes, even though the volume is up, the price is very, very flat at 1.5. Semi-detached, same thing, 0.2. So price is holding very, very balanced. And that was the comment I made just a few minutes ago. But then we can see condo apartment, 6.6% increase year over year. And condo apartment, it's all about affordability. And so how do we break that down? I know you guys are going to love this slide. We introduced this earlier in the year, and I think it's a real great one. So what it does for us, and I know it's a little complicated, but think of it this way. What price range are houses and condos selling in, right? So you can see down the left-hand column, it has price brackets, right? And for anybody that has worked with me recently, they understand this component of price bracketing, okay? So now you look in that first column, detached. What is the greatest number of transactions happening in detached homes? What price range? Well, you just look at the cumulative total, and that's a year-to-date number. So what is it? It's actually the $700,000 to $800,000 price range. There's been almost 2,500 transactions so far this year. What's the second highest? From 1 million to 1,250,000. Interesting, eh? And then number 3 would be 800 to 900, and that's easy to understand. That 700 to 900 band is one of the most popular. But now take a look over to your right and look at condo apartments. Where is the highest volume of condo apartment sales? It's in the $400,000 to $500,000 range, and then $500,000 to $600,000. And isn't that interesting that condo sales are really, really jam-packed between 5 and 7, but then as soon as you get over 7, everybody switches over to detached and semi-detached. And there's a very powerful thought inside of that is the makeup of the market. Many people that are contemplating, where do I go with it? Do I own a condo, or can I get into a house? And because obviously a house inside the Greater Toronto area is what people covet to have most often in that broader sense. So I think this illustrates that point. And understanding how price bracketing works, where the majority of people can afford to buy. The last thought I'll share with you is, isn't it interesting in the $900,000 to $1 million price range, over in that detached column, there's only 1,700 transactions going on there. But under 900,000, it's almost 2,300. And when you go over $1 million, it's up to 2,322. So it's like houses priced between 900 and $1 million, not as common. And the transactions aren't happening. So anyhow, I thought that would prove to be very, very useful. So enjoy the beautiful weather, and we are very excited. We have 3 more listings that we're bringing out in the month of June, so stay tuned for that. We've got a great downtown condo, 1 bedroom, that's coming out on Front Street right near Bathurst. Quick plug, it's a 565 square foot condo with a locker and a fabulous view of a park, of a city park that will never change, the view that is. But it's a beautiful unit. It's being staged this afternoon, and it'll be launched next week. If you know of somebody that's shopping for a downtown rare and exceptional find, great shape, built by Tridel. And so with that, I will look forward to speaking with you again next month. I'm Matt Emerson of RE/MAX Hallmark, Emerson Group Realty. Have a great month.